Have you ever felt like your own mind is, well, like a powerful, untamed force?
Oh, definitely.
You know, like this wild creature that, even when you mean well, sometimes just runs rampant.
Yeah, leading you down paths you really didn't want to go.
Exactly. Or
Yeah.
just keeps you from that feeling of peace, that clarity you're looking for.
Mm.
Now imagine for a moment, what if you could actually master that force? Not by, like, crushing it,
Right, not suppression.
but by gently guiding it, transforming it into, well, an ally for real inner peace and wisdom.
That sounds like the goal, doesn't it?
And what if the path to doing that was lit up by this ancient wisdom told through these really vivid, unforgettable metaphors?
Well, that's precisely what we're diving into today. Welcome, everyone, to The Deep Dive.
Yes, welcome.
This is where we sift through some incredible sources, pull out the most potent insights, and really try to cut through the noise,
Get to the good stuff.
Exactly, bring you those profound nuggets of knowledge.
Yeah.
And our mission for this deep dive, it's to unpack a really core ancient Buddhist concept, the Bodhi Mind.
Bodhi Mind. Okay.
And we're exploring how it's explained through these powerful metaphors of a tamed elephant
Okay.
and a gentle horse. We want to pull out the practical wisdom, the stuff you can actually use, making it not just something you understand intellectually,
Right, not just academic.
but truly relevant to your everyday life, to how you actually experience things inside.
And the source for this journey, it sounds fascinating. It comes from a lecture called Generating the Bodhi Mind.
That's right.
And this teaching, it was provided by the Australian Buddhist Practice Association, which is fantastic, making these insights available.
Huge thanks to them.
Absolutely. And our guide, the insightful Venerable Master Bennie, his wisdom really comes through in the explanations.
He has a wonderful way of putting things.
And we also owe a huge debt of gratitude to Grace Spirit for the translation work. Invaluable, really, opening this up.
Translation is such crucial work. It really bridges worlds.
Couldn't agree more.
So today, what we'll do is we'll start by grounding ourselves in the actual sutra text that Master Bennie is explaining. That's the foundation.
Right, bedrock. Got it.
Then we'll dive deep into Master Bennie's explanations, which are incredibly nuanced. We'll look at his key points and also the dialogue that happens between him and his disciples. It gets quite interesting.
Oh, I like that. Real back and forth.
Yeah, and their questions, honestly, they often mirror the kinds of questions we might have as we grapple with these ideas.
That makes it relatable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So expect maybe some surprising facts, a few really illuminating analogies. He bridges ancient wisdom with modern stuff sometimes. It's great.
Oh, cool.
And just profound insights into self-mastery that, well, they might just shift how you see your own mind and its, frankly, boundless potential.
All right, I'm ready. Let's unpack this. So we're starting this deep dive into cultivating Bodhi Mind by laying the foundation first, going right to the sutra itself.
Makes sense. Start at the source.
These are the verses Master Bennie is teaching from, and they really set the stage, don't they? It's the essential starting point.
Absolutely. Can't build without a foundation. And the first key verse Master Bennie introduces is it's immediately evocative.
Okay, what is it?
It's Tumbo de Vinyu Voi Duk Malak Tam Tin Ton Kong Kong Bao.
Can you translate that for us?
Yeah, translates to Bodhi Mind, like a tamed elephant, gentle, not fierce.
Wow, okay. Like a tamed elephant, gentle, not fierce.
Yeah. What hits you when you hear that? For me, it's this image of just immense power.
Totally. An elephant is huge, powerful.
Right. Capable of incredible strength, even destruction if it's, unchecked, wild. But when it's tamed, the text says it becomes gentle, not fierce.
Yeah.
And the key here, I think, is that it's not about crushing the elephant's spirit.
Right, not breaking it.
Exactly. It's not about suppressing its inherent power. It's about channeling that incredible energy constructively, redirecting its raw force into something, well, graceful, benevolent, effective.
So it points to inner peace, maybe. An alignment that comes not from weakness, but from mastery.
Precisely. It's a transformation from this potentially wild, undirected force into something incredibly useful and harmonious. The big takeaway maybe is that true inner peace isn't the absence of power, but the skillful direction of it.
That paints such a clear picture. Wow. And then the sutra brings in a second image, right? Equally powerful, but shifts the focus a bit.
Exactly. Shifts from that maybe external channeling, even though it's internal, to internal refinement.
How so?
The second key verse goes, Tambure Vinianihilang Thaliamoy Tainak.
Okay. And the translation for that one?
That translates as Bodhi Mind, like a gentle horse, far from all evil nature.
A gentle horse. Interesting contrast.
It is, isn't it? The imagery shifts.
Hmm.
We go from taming this powerful, potentially wild force, the elephant within, to something that speaks more to inherent gentleness, purity.
So what does a gentle horse suggest?
It suggests a creature that's maybe naturally noble, graceful, swift, free from malice or viciousness. It speaks to a really profound purification of character.
Ah, so a state where your very being aligns with goodness, far removed from anything harmful.
Yes, exactly. It's a journey not just of control and redirecting like the elephant, but of deep, intrinsic transformation, refining yourself until you reach a state of just natural kindness.
So the insight there is that Bodhi Mind isn't just managing the bad stuff, but actually cultivating a fundamental nature of gentleness and purity.
You've got it. It's transforming the core.
So these two amazing metaphors, right? The tamed elephant, the gentle horse, distinct yet powerful. It can't be accidental they chose these animals.
No way. The symbolism is rich.
The elephant with its raw strength, its potential danger, but also its capacity for loyalty, focused work, even delicate stuff when trained.
Memory, intelligence.
Right. And the horse symbolizing grace, speed, endurance, but also a spirit that can be wild or incredibly responsive and harmonious.
Perfectly put.
It feels like they represent both the raw power and the refined essence of our inner world, our mental forces, and our potential for real goodness. What does this choice hint at about the mind and the journey we're exploring?
That's a really sharp observation. These metaphors are chosen precisely because they hit different facets of the mind's transformation. The elephant points to the sheer power of our mental and emotional stuff, thoughts, desires, fears.
All that energy.
Exactly. And the necessity of bringing it under conscious, skillful guidance. It's about not letting your mind just run wild, but directing its, formidable strength towards something good.
Okay, that's the elephant. What about the horse then?
The horse speaks more to the qualitative change, the purification of character itself. It's not just managing the outward signs of your mind, but transforming its inherent nature, moving away from those ingrained, harmful patterns toward a natural state of goodness.
So it's like the difference between controlling a symptom and dissolving the root cause.
Beautifully said. That's exactly it. And this distinction, it becomes even clearer when Master Bennie starts unpacking each metaphor.
Okay, perfect setup. Let's dive into that first one then, the tamed elephant. It starts with the disciple making an observation reel.
Yes, and it's quite telling. The disciple immediately points out how especially obedient this tamed elephant is.
Especially obedient. That sounds like the dream, doesn't it? A mind that just does what it's told.
Yeah.
Effortless control.
It sounds appealing, for sure. But this is where Venerable Master Bennie immediately goes deeper. He pushes past that surface idea of just simple obedience.
How does he do that?
He connects the elephant's amazing compliance to something much more profound. The 7 jewels of a wheel-turning holy king, or Chuan Luan Tan Vun.
Okay, wait. Wheel-turning holy king, 7 jewels. Can you give us the quick version of what that means?
Sure. So a wheel-turning holy king is this mythical, ideal ruler in Buddhist stories. Governs totally benevolently with wisdom, brings peace without using force.
Like the ultimate good king.
Pretty much. And there's 7 jewels, things like a precious elephant, a horse, a wish-granting jewel, a great minister, a general. They aren't just possessions. They're symbols of the king's perfect virtue and how effortlessly they rule.
Okay, got it. So how does Master Bennie connect this to the tamed elephant?
He explains that these jewels, just like the tamed elephant in the sutra, are characterized by something he calls mind-to-mind connection. Tam itun von.
Mind-to-mind connection. Okay, so not just obedience. Something more sophisticated, like a deep alignment.
Exactly. It implies this profound resonance, this internal harmony that goes way beyond just commands and following orders.
Can you give an example?
Think of perfectly synchronized dancers, or a really skilled rider and their horse moving completely as one.
Ah, okay. No visible cues needed sometimes.
Right. It's not external force. It's an internal resonance, a deep communication where intentions are totally shared, harmonized. So the elephant representing our powerful mental energies isn't just following orders. It's in agreement with our higher intentions, with our Bodhi mind.
A deep, nonverbal understanding, bypassing all that internal friction we usually feel.
You got it. That internal resistance just isn't there in the same way.
Wow. And this is where Master Bennie turns it back on the disciple, right? And on us.
It really does. It's a brilliant teaching moment. He asks this really provocative, direct question. Do you have it?
Ooh.
Yeah. He says, don't just talk about an elephant connecting with your mind. Is there anyone who connects mind to mind with you?
That hits home. It takes this abstract idea of mastering your mind and bam, grounds it right in our relationships, our daily life.
Totally. It forces you to stop and think. Do I actually experience this deep, intuitive connection with anyone? Or is it just a nice idea?
It's easy to imagine perfect control, much harder to live it with other people.
Or even with ourselves sometimes. And the disciples answer, it's honest, and they say no.
Just no. Okay.
And Master Bennie's explanation for why the answer is no is absolutely critical. He pins it on afflictions. See, and no.
Afflictions. Can you remind us what those are in Buddhist terms?
Sure. Afflictions, finan, are those mental and emotional states that cause suffering and cloud our judgment. Things like greed, hatred, ignorance or delusion, pride, doubt, jealousy. The usual suspects.
The stuff that makes us miserable and make bad choices.
Basically, yeah. They aren't just fleeting bad moods, they're deep-seated patterns that distort how we see things and drive us to act unskillfully. Master Bennie says because our afflictions can dominate all, we can never truly achieve this deep mind-to-mind connection.
Not just with others, but even within ourselves.
Exactly. Our desires, our biases, our fears, they create constant static, noise, preventing genuine alignment within us and definitely preventing it with others who are free from that kind of internal noise.
So if our minds are constantly stirred up or clouded by these phenomena, how can we connect deeply? It's like trying to have a clear chat in a room where 100 radios are blasting different stations.
Impossible, right? You can't hear yourself think, let alone truly connect or align with someone else. And he uses some examples to make this clearer.
Like
he brings up the great white elephant, and Indra, or Theon, Fitch.
Indra, the celestial king figure.
That's him. In Buddhist and Hindu mythology, he's a deity representing power, virtue, mastery. Often shown riding this magnificent white elephant, Airavata.
Which symbolizes
purity, untamed power brought into perfect service. Master Bennie uses them as peak examples of beings without afflictions. And because they lack afflictions, they naturally embody perfect mind-to-mind connection.
Ah, so they're the benchmark. Clear examples of what this state looks like.
Exactly. Freedom from the internal noise and distortion that blocks connection. Their minds are so pure, so clear, that connection is effortless, deep, immediate.
So the practical insight here is, the harder we find it to connect, whether inside ourselves or with others, the more it might reflect the afflictions we're carrying.
That's a powerful way to put it. If our internal landscape is chaotic, our external connections will likely mirror that.
Makes total sense. But then the conversation takes another turn, doesn't it? The disciple asks about this connection across different spiritual realms.
Yes, and this leads to one of the most insightful and I'd say cautionary parts of the lecture. Master Bennie breaks down how mind-to-mind connection varies across the three main realms of existence in Buddhist thought.
Okay, these realms represent different states of being, right? Based on karma and spiritual development?
Correct. And just for clarity. First, there's the desire realm. That's basically where we live most of the time. Our everyday world, dominated by senses, desires, attachments, strong emotions, cravings.
Our familiar reality.
Then there's the form realm, Sukyu. Beings here have gone beyond those gross desires, but they're still connected to subtle forms, often achieved through deep meditation, more concentration, more purity here.
Higher up, less attachment.
Right. And finally, the formless realm, Vosaki. This goes beyond even subtle forms. Pure consciousness, non-physical, achieved through incredibly deep meditative states where you transcend form, feeling, perception, pure mental absorption.
Okay, desire, form, formless. Got it. So how does mind-to-mind connection work in each?
Well, in the desire realm, Master Bennie says connection is achieved barely or reluctantly.
Barely? Why so difficult?
Because we're still so heavily influenced by our desires and attachments. The very fell known we just talked about. They create so much mental static, so much self-centeredness that true effortless connection is really, really hard. It's like everyone's stuck on their own frequency.
Yeah, if your mind is just full of, I want this, I hate that, constantly pulling you around, deep alignment seems impossible, your own noise just drowns everything else out.
Precisely. Then, in the form realm, he says, it's possible.
Okay, better.
Yeah, because beings there have transcended the gross desires. But they're still bound by subtle forms, attachment to some kind of manifestation, however refined. So there's more concentration, a quieter mind, greater capacity for connection, but it's not yet, complete liberation or perfect intuitive sync.
Getting closer, but not quite there.
Right. But it's when he talks about the formless realm that it gets really striking. And honestly, it serves as a profound warning. He describes connection here as a bit foolish. Overdone.
Foolish, overdone. That sounds weird for such a high realm.
It does. And then he uses this vivid image. He says it's like burned cake.
Burnt cake?
Yeah, burnt to charcoal.
Wow. Okay, that's unexpected, especially for a realm that sounds so spiritually advanced. What on earth does he mean by burnt cake? How can something seemingly so lofty be burnt to charcoal?
This is such a critical distinction Master Bennie is making, a core insight into potential pitfalls on the path. He explains this state represents having samadhi, deep concentration, meditative absorption, fixedness.
Okay, intense focus.
Intense focus, yes. But no prajna, no wisdom, no insightful understanding accompanying it.
Ah, samadhi without prajna.
Exactly. He says it's just fire. A consuming intensity of focus that actually burns away wisdom itself.
Burns away wisdom. How?
Imagine focusing so incredibly intently on one point, or emptying your mind so completely that you lose all context, all insight, all understanding of the bigger picture. You might achieve this amazing stillness, maybe profound absorption, but without the clarity, the discernment, the penetrative insight that wisdom brings, it becomes counterproductive.
So it's like having a super powerful laser beam, but no idea where to point it or what it's for.
Perfect analogy. Or like turning on a massive machine with immense power, but having zero clue what it actually does or how it works. You have the raw power, the focus, samadhi, but none of the understanding prajna to use it for awakening. It can actually become a kind of spiritual dead end, a prison of limited awareness, ironically built from intense concentration.
That's a chilling thought, really. A warning against just spiritual mechanics without genuine insight, like being so single-minded you become blind.
Precisely.
Can you think of real-world parallels? I'm thinking maybe people who get incredibly focused, workaholics maybe, or hyper-specialists. They can achieve amazing things in one narrow area.
Right, that's the samadhi.
But they might lack the broader prajna, the wisdom, to see how it fits, or if it's truly beneficial overall. Their concentration might even lead them astray if it's not guided by wisdom.
That's a great example. Or think of someone who masters a specific skill, like a craftsperson. Thousands of hours, incredible focus, that's samadhi. But if they lack prajna, they might miss the bigger picture, how their work impacts others, if it's sustainable, if it's contributing positively. They might get stuck, rigid, unable to adapt, burnt out by their own intense, unguided focus.
Or someone who just consumes information endlessly, knows tons of facts, but lacks the wisdom to connect them, apply them, or see the truth.
Exactly. Their mind is full, concentrated maybe, but not truly wise. And Master Bennie confirms this directly. He states that mind-to-mind connection is a type of wisdom.
Okay. So true connection is wisdom.
Yes. It reinforces that real connection isn't just about being quiet or focused. It's about an active, insightful understanding that permeates everything. It's a deep resonance born from clarity, not just stillness.
Okay, so bringing this all back to our tamed elephant, it's not just obedient because it was forced or conditioned. It has wisdom.
That's the key word.
It applies active learning, development, a deeper grasp of its role and connection to its guide. Not just a trained animal, but a wise animal, acting from understanding, not just blind compliance.
Exactly right. And Master Bennie uses a really simple, down-to-earth analogy for this, training a dog.
Okay.
He says a dog that learns a lot through good training becomes a wisdom dog. It's not just reacting, it's learned and integrated complex stuff into its being. It shows that wisdom in this sense isn't just for humans. It's about adaptable, intelligent learning beyond pure instinct.
That makes it very concrete. And then he brings in that modern parallel you mentioned, the Elon Musk thing.
Yes, which is fascinating, right? Bridging ancient wisdom and cutting-edge tech.
Right.
He talks about Elon Musk's brain-computer interface, Neuralink, training a monkey to play video games.
Right, I remember seeing videos of that.
And Master Bennie highlights how, reportedly, in just a few days, the monkey becomes even better than humans at the game. Wow. And his point is, this isn't just brute force conditioning. It implies deep, rapid learning and adaptation. The monkey becomes, in a sense, a wisdom monkey. It shows how quickly a mind can learn when effectively trained and given the right tools.
That's an incredible bridge. Shows the universal principle of effective training, whether it's an elephant, a dog, a monkey with a chip, or our own minds.
Exactly. It highlights the potential of focused, intelligent training. But then the disciple asks this really sharp follow-up question.
What was that?
It cuts right to the core of what taming means in Buddhism. The disciple asks, if that monkey's brain chip doesn't have affliction programs coded into it, would the monkey still have afflictions?
Great question. Nature versus nurture, or maybe nature versus technology here.
Yeah.
Can tech just bypass our ingrained mental conditioning?
Right. It gets right to it. And Master Bennie's answer is crucial. It really reshapes how we understand taming.
What does he say?
He states, quite clearly, the monkey already has afflictions.
Okay, so the chip doesn't erase them.
Nope. So while it might be a wisdom monkey, because it learned the game incredibly well, it's not a tamed monkey, Diofuk, in the profound sense the Bodhi Mind implies, because its fundamental afflictions haven't been addressed or overcome.
So the technology might allow it to perform a task skillfully, bypassing the afflictions for that task, but the root issues are still there.
Exactly. This is key. The master then clarifies that taming, in this context, simply means training. So the monkey is trained, it has learned, but its underlying fien, its afflictions, they persist.
Okay, so the core insight here is taming the mind, cultivating Bodhi Mind, isn't necessarily about starting with 0 afflictions. That's maybe unrealistic for most of us.
Right. It's about knowing how to train and successfully training despite them.
It means the mind is teachable, it's adaptable, it can learn new ways even with those inherent challenges present. It's about building the capacity to train your mind effectively, not waiting until it's magically perfect.
Precisely. Master Bennie emphasizes, a person with Bodhi Mind is someone who trains successfully. It signifies that you develop this profound ability to train yourself and potentially help train others towards wisdom. You become, in essence, a good teacher of your own mind.
You develop that awareness, that skill to guide it, work with its tendencies, instead of just being pushed around by them.
Yes, it's not about instantly zapping every negative thought. It's about developing the wisdom and the skill to respond to those thoughts skillfully, to train your mind to move in a more wholesome direction again and again.
So for you listening, what does this mean for your ability to learn and teach yourself new ways of thinking?
It means developing that metacognitive skill awareness of your own mind and the capacity to direct it purposefully, even when the going gets tough. It's about becoming your own wise trainer, understanding that mastery comes through diligent, skillful training, not just waiting for an instant fix.
That's a really empowering shift, not about being affliction-free to start, but about building the capacity to train effectively, even with them there, guiding your inner elephant with both strength and wisdom.
Beautifully put.
And that leads us perfectly into the second metaphor, the gentle horse. So if the elephant was about the capacity to guide and train yourself or others, this gentle horse shifts the focus to something deeper, more internal.
That's exactly it. A shift towards personal, profound transformation from the inside out.
Remind us of the verse again?
Bodhi Mind, like a gentle horse, far from all evil nature. Tam Buddha vi nyungdo hinlan sali mai tainak.
Okay. And Master Bennie's interpretation.
He sees this as a direct consequence of developing Bodhi Mind. He explains that cultivating Bodhi Mind leads to awakening. Gyakno.
Awakening. Not just understanding, but like a deep realization.
Yes, an experiential realization of how things truly are, including yourself. And this awakening, he says, leads directly to abandoning afflictions. And the complete cessation, the stopping of all bad habits and evil natures.
Wow. Complete cessation.
Yeah. That's the embodiment of the gentle horse, a mind that is inherently pure, aligned with goodness, free from the tendency towards harm or negativity. It's a fundamental shift in your very being, purification at the root.
So it's not just stopping bad actions, but transforming the very source of those actions?
Precisely.
So just to clarify, while the elephant was about gaining control and the ability to teach or guide.
Right, the capacity for training.
This gentle horse part refers specifically to the person who develops Bodhi Mind themselves. It's about their internal journey.
Yes, the master confirms that explicitly. A disciple asks if this part refers to the person developing Bodhi Mind, and the master says yes. So if the elephant section was about your capacity to train and guide your own mind, or maybe helping others, the gentle horse is about the profound internalized transformation happening within you.
You're not just guiding, you are becoming. Your mind's nature itself changes, becoming inherently gentle and pure.
That's the implication, a fundamental shift in quality.
And that phrase, far from all evil nature, Salya mai tanak, that sounds incredibly profound, maybe even a bit daunting. What exactly does evil nature mean here? And how does it truly dissolve or become far from us? It feels like more than just breaking bad habits.
It is. It's much deeper than just surface behavior. Master Bennie clarifies that tanak here means true or real evil, something really, certainly evil.
Not just everyday grumpiness or minor failings.
No. He's pointing to the deep-seated roots of malevolence, the fundamental predispositions towards harm. In Buddhism, this often points to the three poisons: greed or craving, hatred or aversion, and ignorance or delusion.
The root causes of suffering and unskillful actions.
Exactly. Those are the driving forces. And the profound promise here, according to Master Bennie, is that someone who cultivates Bodhi Mind can truly abandon all afflictions and these deep-seated evil natures. It's not just theoretical. It's presented as a tangible outcome of the practice.
Going to the very source of unwholesome tendencies and purifying them so they just don't arise anymore.
That's the idea.
That's a radical promise, to truly abandon all those deep patterns. For many of us, that sounds almost impossible given how ingrained they feel.
It is a profound promise, and it speaks volumes about the transformative power attributed to Bodhi Mind. Think of it maybe less like suppressing evil, and more like cultivating such overwhelming goodness, compassion, and wisdom that the space for evil nature just shrinks or ceases to exist.
Like tending a garden so well that weeds just don't get a foothold.
Exactly. Replacing a thorny patch with a lush garden. The thorns aren't just trimmed. Their roots are replaced by wholesome growth. This means deep self-reflection, understanding your motivations, challenging conditioned responses, and actively cultivating the opposites: generosity for greed, loving kindness for hatred, wisdom for ignorance.
So if greed is a deep, evil nature, cultivating Bodhi Mind isn't just resisting grabbing things, but actively practicing generosity, finding joy in giving, seeing the emptiness of just accumulating stuff.
Yes, it's a holistic transformation, but then things get philosophically interesting. Disciple 1 throws in a real challenge.
What's that?
They state, all is illusory. How can there be true evil?
Bringing in the concept of emptiness, Shunyata. If everything lacks inherent existence, how can evil be inherently real? That's a classic philosophical point in Buddhism, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And it's where profound theory meets our practical lived reality. It's a great question. How does Master Bennie handle this apparent contradiction?
Yeah, what does he say?
His response is incredibly insightful, very nuanced. He strikes this perfect balance between the ultimate truth and our conventional everyday reality. He doesn't deny the illusory nature of things ultimately.
So he agrees from the highest philosophical view, things might lack inherent existence.
Yes, he acknowledges that perspective. However, he immediately emphasizes the practical, experiential reality of our current state. He tells the disciple, essentially, if you personally actually truly no longer possess those things, those afflictions, those evil natures, then and only then, based on your own direct experience, can you genuinely say all is illusory about them.
Wow. Okay, so it's not enough to just know the theory of emptiness. You have to embody it. It has to be your lived reality, completely free from any trace of those negative patterns, before you can authentically claim they're illusory for you.
Precisely. Your experience has to match the claim. And then comes the Master's crucial warning, stern but compassionate. He says if you make that claim all is illusory, implying evil isn't real for you without having truly transcended these things based on your self-nature, your tantan.
Self-nature. Meaning your inherent true nature, like Buddha nature.
Exactly, that deep core transformation. If you make the claim without that lived transformation having happened, then the claim becomes deceit. Lua. Lua got kak. You're deceiving yourself and potentially misleading others.
That's powerful. It slams the door shut on using high philosophy as an escape hatch, doesn't it? What some people call spiritual bypassing.
Absolutely. Using profound concepts to avoid doing the actual, often uncomfortable work of interchange. It's like claiming you're a world-class swimmer while you're still secretly terrified of getting your feet wet.
Yeah, you can talk the talk, but haven't walked the walk.
Master Bennie is stressing that ultimate truths have to be realized through direct experience, not just recited. The theory of emptiness is a map, a guide, but if it doesn't lead to a fundamental change in your character and actions, it's just words on paper.
It really forces us to look honestly at ourselves. Are we truly free from these patterns, or are we just intellectually dismissing them because we read a book or heard a talk? The gentle horse isn't just conceptually far from evil. It is genuinely, experientially pure.
Yes, you can't just say it's all an illusion as an excuse for not dealing with your anger, your greed, your biases. You have to live that freedom from them.
Which raises that critical question for all of us listening, reflecting on this. How often do we theorize about transformation, about forgiveness, letting go, being compassionate, without consistently doing the inner work, the practice, to make it real in our daily lives?
That's not just a boring question.
What are the implications? It means real change isn't just a mental game. It's a profound experiential shift in our actual being. It's about maybe cleaning the mirror of the mind until its true nature shines through, clearly, effortlessly, without distortion.
It's a profound call to authenticity, to diligent practice, making sure our understanding manifests in how we actually live moment to moment.
What an incredible deep dive this has been, seriously. We've journeyed through these really deep Buddhist teachings, looking at Bodhi Mind through these amazing metaphors, the tamed elephant and the gentle horse.
They really bring it to life, don't they?
They do. And it seems clear now that cultivating Bodhi Mind is this dual process, but totally integrated. It involves the ability to guide and teach that disciplined wisdom of the tamed elephant, harnessing our powerful mental energies constructively.
Right, the training aspect.
And it involves this deep personal transformation and purification, becoming like that gentle horse, inherently pure, truly far from all evil nature.
We've uncovered some really vital distinctions, too, like the absolute necessity of wisdom, prajna, going hand in hand with concentration, samadhi, recognizing that focus alone without insight can be like that burnt cake, a dead end.
Yeah, that was a powerful image. And learning that successful training can happen, leading to mastery, even when afflictions are initially present. The path is about skillful guidance, not waiting for perfection.
Such an important point for practice. Don't wait until you're fixed to start training.
Exactly. And maybe most importantly, that emphasis on lived experience, genuine transformation over just talking the talk. It's not enough to know the theory. We have to embody it.
The call to authenticity we just discussed.
So as you, our listener, reflect on all this, maybe consider what inner elephants or wild horses are stirring in your own mind right now, what powerful energies, what untamed impulses might be ready for a bit more of that careful, intentional guidance and wisdom we talked about today.
That's a great question to sit with.
And maybe ask yourself, how might pursuing a deeper understanding, a real transformation of your own self-nature, be the ultimate path to true freedom and wisdom in your life? What shift in perspective could unlock that next level of inner peace for you?
Food for thought, definitely. And as we wrap up, we really have to express our immense gratitude. First, to the Australian Buddhist Practice Association, thank you for making these profound teachings accessible.
Absolutely. Their work is invaluable.
And our sincere thanks to the venerable and insightful Venerable Master Bennie. His wisdom and compassionate guidance throughout this lecture have been truly illuminating.
Here, here, and a very special thank you, again, to Grace Spirit. That vital work of translation opens these teachings to so many, bridging cultures and languages. It's essential.
Couldn't agree more. Our appreciation also goes to Venerable Chun Yes, whose contributions support these efforts, and really to all the specialists who dedicate their time and energy to bringing these teachings into the world, fostering communities of practice.
Yes, thank you to all involved.
And finally, our deepest gratitude goes to you, our esteemed listener. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive, for exploring these ideas around understanding and self-cultivation with us.
We really hope you found these insights as transformative and thought-provoking as we did. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning,
And keep diving deep into the profound depths of your own wisdom.